Waiters, what Valentine Day disasters have you witnessed? Part 3. I made a reservation last week. Spiel, which ended up making him look bad when I responded with, we've been booked for 3 months. I don't think it was as bad as my Easter brunch story. Woman calls us a week before Easter wanting to confirm her reservation for the patio. We are in a hotel and open up our ballrooms for the big holidays and do everything in rounds. I told her we didn't allow for anything outdoors because of that reason. She responded with, well, your manager said we could and it's 15 people. So I asked her which one, of course no name, and finally say, do you mean Mia? Who was the director of F&B? She says yes. Of course. So I hand the phone to her and she shuts it down real fast. The woman throws a huge fit. Gives us some sob story as to why she needs the reservation. And we still tell her we will call her if we have any cancellations. The woman still shows up the day of. Says it's confirmed. We try to squeeze her in, but her 15 is now 25. We make room because we had a cancellation, but because everything is sat in rounds she only has an hour to get in and out. Half her party isn't there and we ended up having to kick them out before everyone could eat. She was livid, but we explained that because she had no reservation we don't owe anything to her. This is a $50 per person brunch with bottomless mimosas and fucking king crab legs. It's not a cheap experience. She walks out without tipping. It was a disaster. Wasn't Valentine's Day, but maybe a second or third date. I had a woman waiting for over 30 minutes in my section and she kept saying that her date, would be there soon. She orders a drink and seems fine with waiting, so I leave her to her drink until he gets there. I was bullshitting with coworkers in the back and told them about this woman. My coworker informed me that she had a man sitting in her section who was also waiting for his date to show up. There was just a partition dividing these two booths. So we each go up to our respective tables and ask them if it's possible that their date was already there unbeknownst to either of them. My table, the woman, said there's no way and that she would continue waiting. My coworker's table took it upon himself to call his supposed date. He calls her. She answers and moves over to his table, but sadly the man was not happy about this. He berated her somewhat loudly and then just left. The woman sat there crying for a good 10 minutes. I understand why he was upset, but holy shit, that went south really fast. We felt pretty awful for the woman but couldn't help but laugh at how easily this could have all been avoided. But maybe if that's his reaction to something this silly, then she didn't need him anyway. My then partner, a chef, decided to cook me a romantic dinner. Long story short, the night ended with me in hospital because we set my hand on fire. First and only time in 10 years that we celebrated V-Day. Not a total disaster. But still not good. Had a table of 2 people. Probably in their mid-40s last year. Took 45 minutes for this couple to get their entrees due to our kitchen being way too slammed. When they were dropped at the table, they immediately asked for to-go boxes because they told their babysitter they'd be home by a certain time. I overheard the wife say, well, I guess this is why we don't celebrate Valentine's Day. The worst part was that they weren't angry. Just, very sad. My personal feelings about dining out on Valentine's Day aside, I felt so horrible that this couple clearly had put in an effort to have a nice night with each other only to have it go that way. We comped their meals BTW. Edit to clear up some timing issues. I should have added more context to this the first time but wanted to keep it simple. They made a reservation but unfortunately got seated about 10 minutes late. They ordered a round of drinks while looking over the menu. Then a salad course. And then entrees. So at the point their entrees arrived they had already been in the restaurant for close to an hour and a half. I worked at a sports bar. Every couple there on Valentine's Day was a divorce waiting to happen. Worked at a fine dining establishments in the city. Valentine's Day is usually booked solid. That day was -25°C out and for some reason our heating didn't work. The whole floor. Some 80 odd people. And as far as I know 100 plus upstairs too were dining in their winter jackets. We had to close the main doors to keep the heat in. It was a brutal night to be serving. People were cordial despite their disappointment. Not a waiter, but we were the patrons. My now wife and I were on keto during our first Valentine's Day. We decided that keto candy and brownies would be romantic and still in alignment with our diet. We both politely excused ourselves to the bathroom several times so as to not try to gross each other out. That politeness quickly went away as we both found ourselves running for the bathroom without trying to hide the sweat accumulating on our brows. It was not only our first Valentine's Day, but the first time we spent the night taking turns throwing up / having violent diarrhea in my one-bathroom apartment. Not a waiter. This happened years ago when I was 11 or 12. Mom and Dad's marriage had been struggling for years. This was right before they divorced. Mom wanted to take me and Dad to a nice restaurant that opened up in town that was having a Valentine's dinner special with all-you-can-eat crab legs. My mom loves crab legs and can easily clean out a joint, and that's exactly what she did. My dad basically blew off the dinner to go get drunk with friends, and that pissed my mom off, obviously. She screamed at him on the phone and said, "Fuck you, don't come to dinner," but we would still be going out. My mom was eating her anger. Plate after plate of crab legs. She was eventually cut off from the manager. My mom of course whined about it being all you can eat and was told they were about to run out and had to still serve others. She wasn't too happy about that. I just sat there cringing the whole time. Not a server. I work for DoorDash. I occasionally get deliveries that are surprises, usually a guy having lunch delivered to his girlfriend at her job. I usually love these and they're my favorite to do. The girl always looks so happy, and I sometimes get double tips because the guy will tip on the app and the girl will tip me in person. Probably because she's so happy. But this one time. Valentine's Day last year. I love working on Valentine's Day because it's always busy and I get lots of happy couple food deliveries. It was around 1 p.m. and I was delivering food to who I thought was a man at his job. I'll call him Jeff. So I pull up to the job and it's a nursing home. I enter and immediately realize there's something bad going on. Someone died. There's people crying everywhere and an ambulance outside. Pretty much complete chaos. I go to the front desk and awkwardly say I have a delivery for Jeff. The front desk woman says no, Jeff works there. And then leaves immediately. So I'm running around with my expensive food erratically asking people if they know where Jeff is. Finally I get a hold of the guy on the phone and he's like, "Oh, it's for my girlfriend Katie. Thanks for not telling me, dude." I find Katie and she's crying standing next to the dead body. I walk up to her with an awkward smile and tell her I have a Valentine's delivery for her from Jeff. She goes bonkers. Saying she's already eaten lunch. Why would Jeff not tell her? Just basically yelling at me like it's my fault. At this point I've been there around 30 minutes. She says that it was inappropriate for me to walk around the nursing home looking for her. I've done this tons of time with no issues and staff told me to go find her. She starts yelling more that she's mad at Jeff and I've broken the nursing home rules. Etc. etc. I finally managed to get out. Later find out Jeff called and had my $10 tip removed. So I saw a dead body. Got yelled at for 15 minutes. Wasted almost an hour of work time. All for my shitty $2 delivery fee. This couple was double dating. And waiting for the other couple. We were running 1-pound lobster tail special. And we ran out. The wife went apeshit on me. Furious about the whole situation. Their friends wind up bailing on them. And the wife gets more angry. Husband takes my GM to the side to apologize for her and they decide to leave and gives my GM $40 to give to me. I saw a couple have a full-blown argument in the middle of the restaurant. The woman stood up. Took her ring off. Threw it at him and walked out. The man continued his meal. Had dessert and then paid the bill. Left a pretty big tip for the inconvenience and left. Not a waiter. But a chef at a small-ish restaurant. We were really busy, last year and I was out helping bus some tables real quick. I saw a guy and gal sit down. They asked for water so I got it for them. I came back and I heard the guy say, "So why the fuck do you have Tinder on your phone?" Went back to the kitchen. My FA manager asked me what happened and I said, "What are you talking about?" I guess the girl left quickly while crying and the guy followed shortly after. They left $2 for the water. So that was nice. A couple came into the restaurant I work in last year. They split a meal and looked happy enough. Halfway through their meal I notice the guy seems upset. He's speaking louder and faster and the girl seems a little shocked. The guy starts screaming about sugar. And how it's the biggest problem of the 21st century. How her not caring is gonna get all of us killed and it's her fault. There was a waiter trying to get involved at this point and asking him to stop screaming. The girl was so embarrassed she just left in a hurry. The guy ran out after her without paying the bill. He came early next day. Really embarrassed. Paid the bill. Said sorry under his breath and left. Never seen either of them again. A couple came into my hibachi restaurant since it was the fanciest place in town. Young woman was all decked out in a spangly light blue satin cocktail gown. He was in a suit and tie. They wanted to sit at the grill for the show but still ordered a ton of sushi and drinks, so their section of table was extremely full of dishes. I'm talking multiple mixed drinks and waters for both of them. Soup and salad bowls for both of them. Appetizer plates. Sushi plates. Soy sauce trays. And their entree plates. The hibachi seats 12 and it's basically a bar ledge around the grill for a table. And we were slammed, so there was no extra room. I barely managed to talk them into letting me take the empty dishes as they finished with them. But it hardly helped. The chef starts his show and dude is super into it, demanding to be included. So the chef flicks a shrimp at him. In his effort to show off and catch it in his mouth, he manages to miss it completely and crashes into the table, sending food, drinks, and a full bottle of soy sauce on a plate right into his date's pale blue satin covered lap and everywhere else. It was a complete shit show. She was screaming and crying. The other couples that had their meals ruined were all upset. He's blaming me. The bus boys and I were just trying to clean up and salvage what we could of the service. It was awful. Thanks for watching.